What a woman really feels when you're not around. Psychology tricks. What does she really feel when you're not around? Have you ever truly stopped to consider what a woman feels when you're not there? Many men assume that she's simply waiting, missing you, or lost in thoughts of you. But the reality is much more intricate, and failing to understand this can quietly unravel your relationship. When you're absent, her mind reveals a lot more than just longing. It's not only your words that matter, it's the energy, discipline, and presence you bring into her life. She feels the absence of your impact in a way that's far more profound than mere thought. If your influence on her life is weak, she drifts. If it's strong, she holds more respect and desire for you. The Stoic philosophers knew this truth. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the character of a man is revealed by his actions, not his words. Seneca also warned against seeking constant validation, teaching that true strength comes from self-reliance, making your presence solid and unshakable even in your absence. To master this, you must be grounded in your values and purpose, so much so that your absence carries a louder, more powerful message than your presence. If you're ready to dive deeper into understanding this dynamic, hit subscribe and join us for the first lesson on true emotional mastery. 1. She tests your value in absence. When you're not around, a woman doesn't just passively wait for your return, she begins to test you. This test is subtle, not about what you say, but how she feels in your absence. Her thoughts, her actions, and how she mentally positions you in her life all play a role in this process. Absence, far from being a void, becomes the stage where your value as a man is either solidified or dismantled. A strong, high value man understands that his presence should have such a lasting impact that even his absence commands respect and draws attention. Let's break it down. If you're always available, always texting, always chasing, you're not giving her the space to truly appreciate you. Instead of feeling your worth, she feels your dependence. And dependence kills attraction. It's simple psychology. When you create space, she starts questioning. Why isn't he texting me? What is he doing? Who is he with? Does he have a life beyond me? This questioning shifts the dynamic completely. No longer are you the one seeking validation. She is. And that's where you regain control, not through force or manipulation, but through your absence. When you give her room to think, you flip the script. The silence of your absence becomes filled with your mission, your discipline, and your purpose. This is the key. A woman doesn't want a man who is only focused on her. She wants someone who has a life that demands respect. And that's the power of stepping back. You stop chasing, and in doing so, you make her chase your value. This is not a game. It's the deep psychology of attraction, female psychology in action. A woman is not looking for a man who needs her validation. She wants to feel she has a man that others admire, a man whose life is bigger than hers, whose value isn't defined by her presence, but by his purpose. Think about this. The more you prove yourself through your absence, the more she notices. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Your worth isn't something to be talked about or argued over. It's something to be demonstrated. And your absence is the perfect arena for this demonstration. If your absence brings silence, but that silence is filled with your mission, your discipline, and your unshakable sense of purpose, she notices it. She feels it. This is a clear sign of a high-value man. In fact, this is what separates the boy from the man. A boy needs constant attention. A man commands respect by focusing on his greater purpose. So, here's the deal. If your absence causes her to respect you more, then you are on the right track. You're demonstrating that you are a man of substance, a man with direction, and a man who is not afraid to step back and let his actions speak louder than words. But if your absence causes her to doubt you, then it's time to take a hard look at your life and your actions. Maybe you've been living like a boy, and this absence test is exactly what you need to change that. This isn't just a strategy. It's a reflection of who you are as a man. If you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a direction, your absence will be nothing but a void. But if you do, your absence will speak volumes. You'll no longer need to prove yourself. You'll be showing up as a high-value man who is deserving of admiration and respect. In short, Absence is not a threat to attraction. It is an opportunity to prove your worth. Your ability to step back, stay focused, and pursue your purpose without seeking validation is the key to creating lasting respect and attraction. This is how to master female psychology and truly become the man women desire. So, take the opportunity that absence provides. Make it count. 2. Absence creates the chase. One of the oldest truths about attraction is this: people value what they must work for. But modern men, distracted by convenience and instant communication, often forget this principle. When you're always around, always available, and always giving, you remove the challenge that makes you desirable. You remove the mystery. A woman may enjoy comfort, but it is the thrill of the chase, the unknown, that stirs desire. When you're constantly present, there's no space for her to miss you, no room for her imagination to run wild. Desire isn't born from certainty, it's born from uncertainty, from the space between encounters. That's where the magic happens. The power of absence. Absence, when wielded with strength, creates the opportunity for pursuit. When you're not at her beck and call, when your life is full without her constant involvement, she starts to wonder about you. Your absence ignites curiosity. It sparks longing, and that longing, over time, turns into desire. This is where you flip the script. Instead of reaching out first, she starts reaching for you. When you stop responding instantly, when you don't drop everything for her, she starts to crave your attention. She starts asking when she will see you again. She begins to invest. The emotional investment she makes in chasing you forms a bond far stronger than any message you could send or gift you could buy. The Stoic wisdom behind absence. The Stoics understood the value of absence in relationships and life. Seneca, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." When you crave constant attention and validation, you reveal your inner poverty. You show that you are dependent, that you lack self-sufficiency. But a high-value man doesn't need to chase after attention. He doesn't clamor for constant affirmation. Instead, he lives a full life, anchored in his own strength and purpose. This independence is magnetic. When you stop clinging to her presence, you flip the balance of power in your favor. The Alexander the Great principle. Consider the story of Alexander the Great. Even in the midst of his conquests, he would disappear for weeks. He retreated with his army, leaving behind allies and lovers alike, only to return to even greater anticipation. His absence heightened the demand for his presence. When he showed up again, his return carried far more weight because he had made himself scarce. His absence created a craving, a thirst for more that was only quenched by his return. Modern men must reclaim this strategy. Instead of drowning her in endless texts or constant check-ins, focus on your own life, your mission, your craft, your health, your finances. Let her feel your absence, not as neglect, but as a challenge. When a woman begins to miss you, she's invited to step closer, to pursue you. Why women chase and why it matters. When a woman chases you, she invests. And that investment is far more powerful than anything you could buy her, text her, or say to her. Emotional investment binds people together in ways material gifts never can. It's this kind of bond that creates real attraction, the kind that lasts, the kind that is built on respect, desire, and mutual effort. So don't smother her. Don't be the needy man who can't handle absence. Be the man who lives with purpose and self-sufficiency, the man who doesn't need validation. The man who understands that his masculine energy is most powerful when it is not constantly on display. Be the high-value man she can't ignore. To attract women, to create a bond that's deep and lasting, you must be comfortable with absence. The high-value man doesn't cling. He doesn't beg for attention. He knows that attraction is a dance of push and pull, absence and presence. You must live in such a way that your absence is felt. And when you return, your presence will be all the more powerful. Remember, true masculinity comes from being grounded in your own life. Stop seeking constant validation. Stop living for her attention. Live for your own mission, your own purpose. When you do, you'll find that women will not only chase you, They will chase the man who is living the life he's meant to live on his own terms. That's the secret to lasting attraction. Be the high value man she can't resist. 3. The power of silence. In a world where everyone is constantly speaking, silence can be the loudest weapon a man possesses. The truth is, most men do not ruin attraction because of a lack of looks, money, or charm, but because they cannot resist the urge to explain themselves, justify their actions, or seek constant validation from women. They overtalk, overshare, and smother the mystery that fuels feminine desire. Silence, however, is a form of presence without desperation. When a man withholds unnecessary words, he projects confidence. He isn't scrambling for approval, and he doesn't need constant affirmation from anyone, especially not from a woman. This presence, this silence, makes him more appealing, and though it may unsettle her at first, it soon pulls her in. She begins to wonder, what is he thinking? She leans forward. She starts to chase not only your time, but also your words. This is the very essence of Stoicism at play, the calm, iron-willed demeanor that isn't swayed by emotional impulses. As the ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius taught us, observe more, speak less, and act with discipline. These principles give men the power to lead not with words, but with actions. The power of silence in relationships is undeniable. Consider this. She doesn't reply to your text immediately. Most men panic and double text. They chase. But a man who practices the art of silence remains calm and unbothered. He doesn't chase. Instead, he lets the silence work for him. The lack of response causes her to question, did I lose his attention? Is he losing interest? Who else has it? Suddenly, she becomes emotionally invested. Silence doesn't just remove desperation, it creates intrigue, a space where curiosity thrives. She starts to wonder why you're not chasing her, why you're not begging for her approval. When she's emotionally invested, she's drawn deeper into your world. Even in arguments, silence is a powerful tool. Instead of shouting or pleading, you remain composed. Women will test men with words, pushing to see if they will crack. But a man who understands the power of silence knows when to pause, when to let the silence do the heavy lifting. Strength lies in knowing when to remain quiet and when to speak with authority. The man who can remain composed, unshaken by her words, radiates strength. And strength, as history has shown, is magnetic. Napoleon Bonaparte, despite his fiery temperament, understood the power of silence. When faced with opposition, he would often pause, say nothing, and let the silence pressure others into revealing more than they intended. This same principle applies to relationships. Silence forces others to reveal their true emotions. It forces them to fill the gap with their energy. And that is where control lies, not in the words you speak, but in the control you have over yourself. In the modern world, where everyone speaks too much, silence becomes a rare commodity, one that immediately sets you apart from other men. In dating, business, and life, words are cheap, but attention is expensive. The man who practices the art of silence knows that words are not the currency of attraction. His presence, his actions, and his emotional control are what truly draw others in. Remember this: silence is not weakness. It is control. And the man who controls himself will always control the frame of the relationship. Silence is the iron mind at work, steady and unwavering, just as Stoic wisdom has taught us. So embrace the power of silence. Let it do the heavy lifting for you, and watch how it transforms your relationships. In the end, this is the true essence of Stoicism win, the calm presence that doesn't need to explain itself, but rather simply is. Be the man who knows the power of silence, and you will command the room without ever saying a word. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who can benefit from this wisdom. Subscribe for more insights into the power of silence and attraction. Positive affirmation: I control myself and I control the frame of my relationships. Comment this below to remind yourself of your strength and the power you hold in silence. 4. The withdrawal test. When a woman pulls back, don't assume she's gone. She's not always leaving. She's listening. She's listening to the truth your actions speak when you're not around to defend yourself. That's the essence of the withdrawal test. Absence becomes a mirror that reflects who you really are without her gaze to keep you propped up. Do you crumble into anxiety, texting, or calling repeatedly, begging for her attention? Or do you strengthen your routine, deepen your mission, and let your silence speak for itself, showing that your life is full, focused, and moving forward? This is the core of the test. How you respond when she pulls back will tell her everything about you. Understand this. Women can feel the difference between a man who needs them to stabilize his emotions and a man whose emotions are governed by his own values. One drains her, the other pulls her in. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," and this is the truth about the withdrawal test. When she steps back, is your imagination controlling you, or are you controlling it? The pressure she puts on your frame, through her absence, will either break you or forge you. Just like heat tempers steel, her withdrawal will either weaken you or make you stronger. Here's the question you need to ask yourself. If she didn't reply for 2 days, would your discipline strengthen or disappear? Many men fail this test because they fear the space. They rush to fill the silence with explanations and affection she hasn't earned, diminishing their own value. But the strongest move is counterintuitive. It's to give the distance the dignity it deserves. Stop performing, stop pleading your case. Instead, you must embody your standards, your values, and your mission. Marcus Aurelius taught that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in your way becomes the way. Her distance isn't the end. It's an opportunity for you to become stronger, more focused, and more disciplined. When she looks back at you, what does she see? Panic or progress? That's the question you need to answer with your actions. Let's take a modern example. When elite athletes hit a slump or get benched, the weak chase attention. But the greats attack the fundamentals in silence. Their return is undeniable because the work they've been doing has been real, even when no one is watching. That's the energy you must transmit in your absence. Not noise, but evidence. And evidence doesn't need words to speak. Here's a mind-boggling question you probably haven't asked yourself. If a hidden camera followed you when she pulled back, would the footage increase her respect or confirm her doubt? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, good. Use that discomfort to drive you forward. The withdrawal test should discipline you into becoming the kind of man whose baseline habits make you desirable, whether she's calling or not. Epictetus wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Master your impulses. When she withholds attention, withhold your reaction. When she delays effort, delay the reward. When she disrespects your time, remove access to it, not in anger, but with purpose. The paradox of this test is brutal but beautiful. When you stop trying to control her, you start controlling the only force that matters, yourself. Self-control is the signal that women feel, even when you're not in the room. Pass the withdrawal test, and your absence won't feel like neglect, it will feel like gravity. Women will feel the pull of your emotional stability, your discipline, and your focused energy. This is how you become the man she respects, the man she desires, the man she can't forget. 5. Her silent tests of your strength. When it comes to understanding women, there's one thing men often overlook: the silent tests they perform on your strength when you're not around. You may notice her pulling away, going silent, or shifting her energy and wonder why. What you must understand is that when you're absent, she isn't just missing you, she's testing the image of you she holds in her mind. These tests aren't about manipulation. They're about security. They're about seeing if you truly are the man you claim to be, even when you're not in her presence. Let's ask this question. If she remembers your words, but doesn't feel your actions, do those words still carry weight? In female psychology, consistency is one of the most powerful signs of masculine strength. The truth is, when you're not around, she compares how you treat her in your presence to how she feels when you're gone. If the warmth, clarity, and confidence you project when you're there do not extend into her private moments, she starts to feel a disconnect. She begins to sense weakness, and that weakens her attraction. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the foundation of every silent test a woman will put you through. She wants to see if you embody your words and values even when she's not around to witness them. Imagine two men, one who commands attention in public but crumbles in doubt when unseen, and another who stands firm in his convictions, whether observed or ignored. Which man do you think she will respect? Which man will naturally build attraction without having to do anything? You see, when you're not around, she replays every small inconsistency in her mind. Did you say you value discipline but skip your responsibilities? Did you claim to honor loyalty but entertain the attention of other women? These contradictions don't escape her. They live in her intuition, and they shape her perception of you far more than any words you could ever say. A woman's silence is rarely empty. When she pulls away, she's watching. When she delays her response, she's measuring. And when she creates distance, she's not trying to hurt you, she's evaluating. She's determining whether you'll collapse into neediness or rise to composure. And this is where most men fail. They chase, they beg, they panic. But the man who truly understands female psychology doesn't react. He remains calm. He knows that strength doesn't need to scream. Strength proves itself through calm and quiet confidence. So, ask yourself this. If she withdrew from you tomorrow, would your identity remain unshaken, or would you scramble for validation? Women can feel that difference without you uttering a single word. Epictetus wisely said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." This is exactly what she's testing when you're not around. She's testing whether you are truly the man you say you are, or if you only play the part when she's watching. If you understand this concept, you'll stop fearing her silence. You'll start to see it for what it is, the echo of your own character being reflected back to you. A high-value man who attracts women doesn't react to every test. Instead, he understands that his masculine energy, his consistency, discipline, and composure speaks louder than words. He stands firm, knowing that real strength is quiet, patient, and unshaken by the challenges that come his way. When you embody this, you'll never need to chase validation again, and the woman you're with will respect you more than ever. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. 6. The body language test. When it comes to relationships, a woman's words may sometimes be deceiving, but her body language is a clear reflection of her true feelings. High-value men, those who understand the Old Stoic wisdom, know that actions speak louder than words. In the same way that a warrior reads the battlefield, you must learn to read the subtle, yet powerful, cues a woman gives off when you're around her. This is the art of the iron mind, knowing that, as a man of clarity, you must pay attention to the smallest of details. A woman's body rarely lies. The moment you learn to read it, you step into the realm of Stoicism win. If she is genuinely interested in you, her body will naturally lean toward you. Watch her eyes, they will soften, and her lips may slightly part. She may even mirror your movements without realizing it. If you cross your arms, she might do the same. If you take a sip of your drink, seconds later, she may follow suit. This mirroring is a subconscious attempt to bond with you, to create harmony. It's as if her body is saying, "I want to be in sync with you." But not all body language is a positive sign. If she consistently angles her body away from you, avoids eye contact, or creates physical distance, these are strong signals of disinterest. Her feet, too, will tell the truth. If her feet are pointed towards you, that's a good sign. But if they're turned away, or if her body faces the exit, it's an indication that she's not as invested. A woman who is truly interested in you will find subtle ways to close the physical gap, whether it's a light touch on your arm, a playful nudge, or brushing something off your shirt. These small gestures are her way of testing the waters, her way of saying, "I want to be closer to you." And yet, there's something that many men fail to recognize. Women, by nature, are polite. They don't always speak their minds directly because they wish to avoid conflict. Instead, they rely on their body language to communicate how they truly feel. Most men waste years chasing women who verbally entertain them, but whose bodies tell an entirely different story. Stoicism win means recognizing when you are chasing the wrong signals. By mastering the ability to read body language, you save yourself from years of frustration. You are not supposed to confront her about it or overanalyze every gesture. Instead, step back and look at the patterns. Patterns don't lie. If her body language is consistently open, warm, and inviting, she is genuinely interested. If it's tense, withdrawn, or distant, then it's time for you to reevaluate. As a high value man, you must understand that your time and energy are valuable. You should never waste them on someone whose body has already communicated disinterest without her needing to say a word. Consider the great leaders of history, like Julius Caesar, who was known not just for his military brilliance, but for his ability to read people. He could sense loyalty and betrayal before anyone spoke. You, too, can learn to read between the lines, paying attention to the nuances of a woman's posture, eye contact, and subtle gestures. This ability, which comes from developing an iron mind, is key to navigating modern relationships. The truth is, you must learn to recognize and respond to what a woman's body is saying, not just her words. This knowledge will not only give you control over your relationships, but will also help you become the man of clarity and self-respect that Stoicism teaches. And as you develop this skill, you will understand that the best relationships are those where both bodies are aligned and where both energies complement each other. So, don't waste time chasing words. Look for the truth in the body language that never lies. Step into your power, trust in your instincts, and let your life and relationships be defined by the clarity and wisdom of a stoic mind. 7. The woman's silent tests of your absence. When you're not around, a woman doesn't just sit idly by thinking about you. No, she is silently testing you. These aren't tests you can see or feel, not written on paper, but deep, unconscious evaluations of your character, resilience, and strength. Women, by nature, test men, not out of malice, but because they need to know if you can stand strong when things aren't perfect. History has shown that men who falter in times of absence, who crumble under pressure, don't just fail their women, they fail themselves. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations that a man must be like the cliff against which waves continually break, yet remains firm and unmoved. Women want to see this in men. When you're not around, she will subconsciously ask, are you the cliff, unshaken by the storms, or are you the wave that crashes and dissipates, easily lost in jealousy or seeking constant validation? When you're absent, she's testing your inner strength, not because she wants to catch you failing, but because she wants to know if she can rely on you. She needs to see if you can stand firm, if you're a man with purpose, someone who remains steady, not needy. Here's a truth that many men don't want to hear. Absence is a test. The way you handle her absence and your own absence will either build or weaken her trust in you. If you constantly reach out, always in need of her attention, or if you chase reassurance like a dog following its master, she notices. Women are perceptive. This isn't about a conscious desire to test you. It's about a subconscious need to evaluate your strength. It's not a game, it's survival. She wants a man who doesn't need to be coddled, who doesn't wither when left alone. Many men lose women without understanding why. It's not about what happened when they were together. It's about how they handled her absence, how they dealt with their own journey. Ask yourself, if you were absent from her life for a week, not because you were playing games, but because you were focused on growing yourself, would she feel abandoned? Or would she feel proud that her man is building something greater than himself? The answer to this question reveals everything about the man you are. A man without a mission invites doubt. A man with a mission commands respect. When you're not around, her mind asks one fundamental question. Is he a man who leads himself or a man who needs me to lead him? You must understand this. Women respect strength, not neediness. They may enjoy the attention, but what they truly desire is stability. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once warned, if you want to improve, be content to be thoughtless and stupid. He meant that true strength comes from not worrying about what others think, but from standing firm in your own purpose. If your absence leaves her questioning your value, endure it with dignity. Let your actions, your growth, speak louder than words. Don't beg for validation. Instead, let your discipline and self-determination show her who you really are. Every silent test is an opportunity. It's a chance to prove your depth, your devotion to your own path, and the strength of your character. The man who survives these tests doesn't just keep the woman, he earns her respect. And more importantly, he earns his own. So I ask you, when you're not around, does she wonder what you're doing, or does she wonder if she's worthy of a man like you? Remember, silence is not absence. It is a test of your strength. And the strongest men are those who pass it with grace and confidence. If you truly understand this, you already know the silent tests of absence are not traps. They are the proving ground of your strength. Stand firm like the cliff Marcus Aurelius described, unshaken by waves, unbent by storms. Comment below to affirm your path. I am the cliff, not the wave. 8. How her attraction intensifies with your absence. When you're not around, it's not just your physical presence that is missed, it's your energy, your masculinity, and your strength. You might think that distance would create a gap, but in reality, it often amplifies the very qualities that make you attractive. When you step away, a woman doesn't just sense your absence, she begins to experience the void you leave behind. And in that absence, something profound happens. Her attraction to you intensifies. This isn't about losing connection, nor does it diminish your importance. On the contrary, your absence becomes an opportunity for her to truly appreciate your value in her life. When you're not there to fill every moment, she starts asking herself, why does he matter so much? And that's when things change. It's like a well-kept secret. When you're absent, the qualities you embody, confidence, strength, resilience, suddenly become more visible, more desirable. A woman's mind begins to replay moments that showcase your masculine energy, the stability you bring into her life, and the unwavering presence you offer when you're around. It's the little things, your grounded nature, the way you make her feel safe, how your leadership and calm energy shape her world. But it's not just nostalgia. Your absence doesn't create distance in a negative way. It creates longing, and longing breeds desire. The more she misses your presence, the more she respects what you bring to the table. Her appreciation for you grows, and with that respect comes a deeper yearning. She starts to realize that her life is somehow incomplete without you. You provide something that no one else can. And that realization, it only draws her closer. This principle isn't just an emotional reaction, it's rooted in psychology. It's about the way the human mind works. When you're not physically present, but your presence lingers in her mind, it ignites her imagination, heightens her sense of longing, and stirs her desire. It's almost like an internal game of attraction, where your absence becomes a tool for building emotional and psychological tension. You might think that a woman would only miss you when you're gone, but what really happens is that she starts feeling your value even more deeply. It's a profound shift. Your absence makes her realize how important you truly are to her life. And in this space, where your absence creates a void, the respect, admiration, and desire she feels for you can only grow stronger. So, what does this mean for you? If you want to keep her attraction high, you don't always need to be in constant contact. Instead, make your presence known in ways that count. Be a high-value man who doesn't seek constant validation. Be the kind of man who understands the power of presence and absence. Your strength, your energy, and your ability to hold space in a woman's life without being physically present are what make you attractive. The more you understand and embrace your masculine energy, the more respect and attraction you'll inspire. The key here is not to be overbearing or needy. Instead, stand firm in your value. Let her experience your absence and feel the depth of your importance. Remember, don't mistake absence for weakness. Be the kind of man who knows that his value doesn't diminish when he's not around. That is how attraction works. The stronger your presence in her life, the more intense her feelings will be when you're gone. So, embrace your masculinity and let your absence work in your favor. Your absence isn't a setback, it's a tool. It's not a lack of connection, but a means to deepen it. By allowing space for her to miss you, you create more room for longing, respect, and attraction. That's the power of absence, and that's how you make her want you even more. 9. How absence tests her emotional attachment to you. When you're not around, Her emotional attachment to you will be tested in ways that words and promises cannot measure. Absence isn't merely a physical gap, it's a trial of her feelings, an opportunity for her to confront the true depth of her emotional connection with you. The absence of your presence serves as a mirror, reflecting how strong and genuine her attachment really is. If your absence creates a vacuum that she feels, if she finds herself missing you deeply and often, if her thoughts constantly return to you, this is a clear sign that you have become irreplaceable to her. A woman who truly cares will feel the sting of longing in your absence. She will anxiously await your return, and each moment without you will only strengthen her emotional bond. However, if your absence leaves no mark, no void, no longing, no desire for your return, it signals something different. It suggests that the emotional connection may be weaker than you think. She might not feel the need for you to come back, and that lack of desire could force her to reevaluate the relationship altogether. She'll begin to question whether the relationship holds the meaning she once believed it had. This moment, this time when you're not around, strips away the layers of surface level attachment and exposes the true emotional foundation of the relationship. It reveals whether her feelings are rooted deeply or if they were superficial to begin with. Absence becomes the litmus test. If she longs for your return, it shows that the emotional attachment is genuine and strong. But if she feels indifferent, it's a signal that the relationship may need more depth than work. As the ancient Stoics would say, the obstacle is the way. Absence is an obstacle that shows you where the relationship stands. It's not just about missing each other, but about reflecting on the relationship itself. You must ask yourself, is this relationship truly built on something deep and lasting, or is it merely an illusion? It's time to stop making excuses and face the reality. Your absence forces her to confront her feelings, and when she returns to you, it should be with a strengthened desire to truly build something meaningful. If not, then you must question whether this relationship is worth the investment of your time and energy. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: what stands in the way becomes the way. Your absence may seem like a challenge, but it is, in fact, the path to greater clarity and understanding. By testing her emotional attachment to you, you are learning about the true strength of your connection. If she returns with longing and deepened affection, you've won. If not, don't despair. Use it as an opportunity to adjust and grow stronger in your pursuit of genuine, meaningful relationships. This is the essence of Stoicism: resilience, emotional control, and clarity in the face of trials. Just as the Stoics taught, you must cultivate an iron mind. Don't falter in your quest for emotional mastery. Whether she misses you or not, you must remain composed and steadfast. You must cultivate an emotional core that is unaffected by external circumstances, but one that can assess the situation with rational clarity. By taking this approach, you embody the old Stoic wisdom. You don't chase after fleeting emotions or desires. Instead, you allow life to show you the truth of the situation. Use absence not as a tool of uncertainty, but as a powerful method for strengthening your relationship. If the relationship thrives in your absence, you have something real, something worthy of pursuing. But if it falters, let it go. Stoicism teaches us not to chase what isn't meant for us. So stand firm, have patience, and let the absence reveal what needs to be seen. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video valuable, please give it a like, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights on relationships and psychology. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Do you agree with the ideas shared? Or maybe you have your own experiences or questions? Feel free to leave a comment below, and let's discuss it together. Your feedback is always appreciated, and remember, understanding each other is key to building stronger connections. Take care and see you in the next video.